Hello, hello.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Yeah, ready to rock?
Yeah. Sorry, I was having some computer problems. Always fun to
No,
have.
no problem. No problem. We're actually live, so
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, welcome everybody who joined us. Don't see anybody joining us yet, but let's just make sure that everybody's on board and
Beautiful.
they got the idea. I was I was reminded of the fact that you really need to uh, let people know the medium, because for me it's just natural to do LinkedIn Live, but essentially you gotta remind people that it's actually LinkedIn Live and not a Zoom or anything like that. So I might just visit the event. Yeah, so we are live
Perfect. So we'll
and
give
we're
everybody a couple minutes here.
yeah, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube as well.
Nice. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for having me and setting this whole thing up.
sure. Do you want to give a few words about yourself until everybody's joining us?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, your whole professional journey
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
stuff. Yeah,
Do you want me to jump in now or should we give it
yeah,
a couple
yeah,
minutes while?
for sure. Yeah, go ahead. I think we have some people live and stuff. So
Perfect. Sorry, this is my first time using StreamYard. So, okay, here we go. Reading the comments. So yeah, Ariel, thanks for having me. For everybody joining, my name is Mark Furstein. During the day, I run a startup called Recapped. We're a collaborative deal room. So we help buyers and sellers get deals done, really just across all of SaaS, right? Consulting, clients, agencies, anyone that's selling a product or service, we're able to help with. And then I guess really over the last year and a half, I've just become obsessed with AI. I think like most people, I think we're living in a incredible period right now where you can almost create anything that you want. And for me, who's always been this like idea guy, it's really just naturally clicked. And a lot of it kind of came out of just personal frustration because as a small startup, we couldn't afford to go and hire 15 marketers and compete with, literally the Salesforces of the world. And so I had to learn how to build agents, how to automate, how to really just punch above our weights. And that's where all of this kind of came from. And during that time, I started getting clients that wanted me to consult and help them, current recap customers, friends, people in my network. And that's really where mastering AI came from. And so, as really just a way to keep myself accountable and make sure I'm learning and staying on top of everything, I launched this website and the demand kind of just went through the roof. So, I started hosting some courses, started putting out content. Um, and we've been doing this officially for about 2 months now, and it just keeps doubling month over month. So, hoping the trend continues. This has just been a lot of fun, and happy to share anything that I've learned with anybody else.
awesome, cool. So I think we just have about an hour 10 minutes max. Um, so I guess we should get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Asking, I guess, everybody that's on right now, does anyone have any particular questions or any hesitations that have stopped them from building agents in the first place? Or maybe they have a specific workflow that they want to automate or a specific agent that they want to build. Would love to hear that in the comments. So that way we can kind of tailor what we're doing here for the next hour around that.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. So we by the way, we met on LinkedIn maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I think you released some sort of a lead magnet. I replied. We started chatting,
Yeah,
and here we are. So
here we are.
yeah,
Again, appreciate you having me. ICP
absolutely.
agent. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a common one.
Yeah, there's one from Grant Walker. Can you see that?
Yep. Tool that will analyze local grocery store prices and help optimize meal planning based on what's on sale. That's really interesting. Okay.
Wow,
I could use that. All right. So
nice one, Grant.
cool. I'm
I
just gonna
like
go ahead
yours
and
too, Gur. So no offense. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Uh yeah, I think obviously always, first thing kind of top of mind is always sales, marketing, top of funnel, putting out content. So today we're going to start with two that I think are really going to drive kind of the baseline. One is going to be researching, and that could be researching a client, it could be researching yourself, researching your company, whatever it is. And then the second one is actually putting some of that into written content. And I think that'll be a really good baseline. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
And
are you able to?
I am, yes. So
Yeah.
hopefully you're seeing the right screen here.
Oh, yeah, I have to add it to the stage. Now I add it to the stage.
Beautiful.
And we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Jen, thanks for joining. So first thing, highly recommend, if you're not already using it, start with Claude Code. It may sound intimidating with code in the name. You don't have to learn how to code. You don't have to do it. It's going to do it all for you. So this is, in my opinion, what I've been running pretty much everything that I've been doing for the past 6 months or so. ChatGPT has their own version called Codex. It's good. Some people prefer it. I personally have just kind of found my lane, and I'm not diverting from that right now until I see a good reason. So what you're going to want to do, there's really 2 ways to use Claude. One is you're going to download the either the Mac or the Windows app, and that's going to look something like this, where we're going to come in and use that here in just a minute. Or you could do something that's really scary for a lot of people and use the terminal. So for example, if I have a folder on my computer, I can right click it and just click new terminal at folder. And that's going to open up this big, scary black box that you just type stuff into. I started, when I first started using Claude Code, there wasn't this, fancy app. So I've pretty much just built everything that I've done in this terminal. It's not as intimidating as it looks. You can ask Claude to do any of this. It'll teach you every single step of the way.
So Claude, normal Claude, you can ask the web interface. Most of us know and have used, and we can ask it to guide us.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So there's really kind of a big distinction, right? So you have Claude, which is what everyone knows, right? It's the chat. You're coming in here, you're asking questions. Recently, they've released something called Cowork. What this does is it gives Claude access to your computer, so it can open files, it can write things, it can do things that you just can't do just by having a chat interface in a web browser. Okay. And then if you want to take it one step further, Claude Code, this is really what's going to build things for you, like agents, like skills, etc. Okay. And so we're going to use Claude Code, not Claude Chat or Cowork today. And so the first thing we're going to start with, and actually taking a step back, maybe it'll be helpful to kind of show some of the things that I've built just to give some inspiration on this. So we'll just take 2 seconds on that.
Guys, keep commenting. I mean, we'd love to see your ideas, and I'll surface them with the screen if you don't mind. So yeah.
Yep. And I've got the comments here on the other side of the screen. So as things come in, we can definitely jump into any of them, right? But before we jump into actually building them, I just want to show you just for inspiration, right? I saw a couple of these, right? ICP agents, etc. So this is how I got started. This was a project I did, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. I essentially created just a dashboard for me to run different agents. So first I kind of created this profiler. This is actually what we're going to build today because it's kind of the foundation. Then I created some scouts. What this did was it went through and found relevant subreddit threads and subreddits that I can post recapped, to get comments and to get SEO feed and juice, essentially, to drive organic signups for my companies. And so I created all these agents. They told me which subreddits to look at, which threads to post, what to post. And I went in and actually started posting these things myself, and it's driven a lot of SEO and leads for myself. Right. One of the biggest reasons you might want to do that is because places like Reddit and other high authority places, that's where LLM is pulling their data from, right? So if you ask, hey, I need a consultant to help me with X, it's going to rely on that because it's supposedly trusted information from other people. All right. So I started with this, and then about a week ago, I really went down off the deep end and kind of created a product where I could literally come in here, my calendar, my notes, my CRM data, my support tickets, my bookmarks, literally everything in one place. And then I built agents on top of it, which will then tell me what I need to do on a daily basis. All right. And so I can literally just come in here and just manage all of that, as well as a whole nother slew of 30 something agents that come in here and run things like end of day summary or Slack channel digest or whatever it is. Right. So as you can see, you're not going to get here overnight, nor should you, right? You want to take time and you want to learn this, but the sky's the limit. You can really build anything that you want here.
What tools is it replacing for you at the moment? What that dashboard that you've built?
Yeah. So this dashboard is actually, so my daily life is Notion, Slack, Discord, WhatsApp, Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoom, recordings, Avoma. It's chaos. And so I wanted essentially to bring all of that in one place. And now that I submitted this for a hackathon that Claude Code was doing that I got into for a $100,000 grand prize. Hopefully I win. We'll find out tomorrow. But I'm not counting on it. But it's already I'm going to be cutting my Notion. I'm going to be cutting probably 3 or 4 other tools as well over the next week or so. But the agents in particular, right? So
Yeah.
I really, the reason I wanted to show this is I want people to start thinking about this, right? Because if you start putting all of this data, it doesn't have to be in this platform. It could be in a folder on your computer. By putting all this content together, you're now giving Claude and these agents the context that it needs to be able to drive really valuable actions for yourself, right? Because if you think about just Claude chat, it only knows probably what you're putting into that chat. However, if you give it access to every call recording that you've ever had, if you give it access to your emails, your Slack, whatever you want to do, obviously you want to be careful with security, but when you give it that, it's able to be smarter and make better decisions and do more work ultimately for you.
Yeah. We have a question about which Claude subscription are you using? Is the Pro $20 one sufficient for all those agents?
It is going to be enough for you to get addicted until you subscribe to the $100 a month one. I am on the $200 a month one, and I'm still hitting my limits every now and then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're going to start a lot more basic today. So
Yep.
let's not intimidate anyone with anything. We can just...
Exactly. Yeah. And so, yes, Gur, it's a great question. The Pro $20 one should be enough to get you most of these agents. You may hit a daily limit or so. You just come back the next day. Okay. And so now with kind of that out of the way, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fire up either the app for Claude Code. Right, I'm just going to create a new session here. Or we're going to create it in the terminal, whichever you feel confident. I'm going to do both of these kind of side by side here so that you'll be able to see that. And so really the first thing that we want to do once we install Claude is you come in here and we're going to open this up and we're going to literally tell it what we want it to do. And so I have a prompt that I'm going to share with everybody, and it doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to be a prompt engineer. You don't have to be an expert. Claude is smart enough that it's going to pick up on what you're doing, right? So first, what we're going to do is I'm literally just going to paste this in, and you guys can copy it, and I'll read it out loud as well.
Awesome. Right.
So the prompt is very, very simple. Create a Claude Code skill called /Intel. It should analyze any company website I give it. Here's what I want it to do. All right. Find and read the sitemap and key pages. All right. A sitemap is where it lists out every single page on your website. Right. It's what Google and everybody else uses it to crawl. We're going to then extract the value proposition, the target audience, their pain points, company. You can tailor all of this, right? This is just something out of the box. Identify competitive positioning and key proof points, numbers, testimonials, results, etc. Save the analysis as a structured markdown file. You may have heard of MD files. That's what these are. AI is really good at parsing and managing and editing markdown files. It's way more efficient than an HTML file or anything like that. So that's why we want to do it. And make the output structured and useful. Right. And just something simple like this is going to be enough for you to get started. Now, you can also come in here and also, because I think, Gur, you talked about ICP, also, identify their ICP, the pain points it solves, what industries they operate in, what their pricing model is, their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. I mean, literally whatever you want to do, right? And so just this simple prompt, we can now use it to find all the data on our company. We can use it to find a competitor. We can use it to find potential businesses we want to start. It kind of opens us up to a lot of different things. I'm just going to hit enter. And I already have this skill created, so it might throw an error, but for everybody else, you're going to be able to do that. And if we want to just copy this in the terminal, all you have to do is first type Claude and then just paste the exact same thing in there.
Do you want to drop it in the comments as well?
Yes. How do I do that?
So
oh, here we go.
Post a comment, yeah.
It's going to make me join with an account. Give me just a second.
Or you can send it to me on LinkedIn and I'll post it. That's another option.
Oh, okay, I'm in. Here you go. It looks like it failed to post. I'll just send it to you if you don't mind.
Send it to me. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we also have some people watching us on YouTube.
Nice. Cool. I just sent it to you on LinkedIn, so if you want to drop that in. And I'll also open it up so anyone can look at it. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys.
1 second, guys. It's gonna hit your comments and very soon. Got it.
All right. And so I'm just going to go ahead and just allow anything that comes up. It's just going to get to work, right? If you use Claude Code, if you use ChatGPT, this is going to look similar. It's just going to throw a little bit more code in there and files. Don't worry about it. All you really care about is the output here. Again, you do not have to be technical in the slightest to do this. And so I'm just going to actually, what I'll do here is I'm just going to do it in a different folder. So that way it's, I'm not getting conflicting stuff. But again, in a terminal, all you have to do is just type Claude and then just paste it in. And this nice little crab or whatever it is appears. Okay. And here we go. And I'll just move this maybe like this. And again, I'm just going to keep allowing. I have a lot of familiarity. Same thing here, right? I'm going to give it permissions. It's always asking for those permissions. And it's essentially just going to get to work, right?
Yeah. So why is it an agent rather than, and why would I use this rather than using just the normal Claude?
Yeah, great question. So again, it really goes back to access and what it's actually able to do, right? If we just open up the Claude chat, the only thing it's able to do is give you an answer. It's not able to go and click on things for you. It's not able to, it can create some files for you, but it's very limited. Think of it as almost like a little sandbox, right? Whereas when you give it more access to your computer, now it can go and browse websites for you. It can book hotels. It can read your emails. It can do all of these other things because you're expanding it from a sandbox to now an apartment, right? And so when you're starting to use Claude Code, now you're giving it access to the internet where it can then go and create these things by itself, and it can actually act on things for you. It's no longer just asking and giving you answers.
Okay.
Right.
So for those of us for those of you watching on LinkedIn, I've pasted the prompt in the comments, also on Facebook as well. I wasn't able to do it on YouTube for some reason, but yeah.
Well, thanks for managing this. Alex, great question. Would the same prompt work in Cowork or just Code? So some of the prompts will work in Cowork. They're constantly updating it. So I think Cowork is a really, really fantastic way to just kind of dip your toe in the water. One of the first things I did with Cowork is I had to clean up my downloads folder that I've wanted to clean up for the past year, never got around to it. It did it in about 7 minutes for me. I had to go through my LinkedIn and pull contacts and create a spreadsheet, for example. And it was literally just going around and clicking on the tabs for me. Right now, I was a little worried about getting banned by LinkedIn and stuff, so I didn't do too much on it, but you can have it access your computer essentially. Now, then taking it a step further with Code, anything you can't do with Cowork, you should be able to do with Code. Perfect. So here, the Intel skill is ready, right? And so now we can actually just start using it. And if I type /Intel, it'll appear, right? And boom, it fills out. And if I do this on the terminal, you'll see essentially the same thing, but I imagine most people are probably using the app because it is easier, right? So here it is, literally, the skill has been updated. It does this. And now all I need to do is invoke it by using /Intel and then giving it the website. So I'm going to go ahead and just do masteringai.io. And it's just going to go off to the races. And I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'll do, let's do recap.io. And we just built our first agent, right? Now, Claude Code is technically the agent that's running this, right? The skill that we created, think of it as almost like instructions or a job description for it to go and execute that. This is kind of level 1. Eventually, once you get really comfortable with this, you can actually start building your own agents. And then when you get comfortable with that, you can have your own agents build their own agents. Right? And but essentially you're always using the same exact thing, right? We're giving it instructions. We're giving it kind of what we want out of it. And we're going from there.
So when you mean your own agents, are they still going to run in Claude Code?
So that website that I showed you earlier when I was in on the dashboard, that's out of Claude Code. That is on a server. Those agents are running by themselves.
Okay, so that's something that you host on a server. You connect it to Claude API or ChatGPT API and whatever you choose.
Yeah,
you take it from there. Okay.
And Ariel, I think you've been messing around with OpenClaw and ClaudeBot as well, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Nice. How's that been going? Because that's one of the next levels, right? Where you now have the agent creating the agent for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going well. I mean, I'm trying not to waste too much time on it because I spend my time part-time at a startup and part-time at my job. So at my business. So I'm just spending so much time into it at the moment, but it's good. I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is a way for it to manage a whole business end to end, so I don't have to do anything and just make money. But I haven't been successful with that so far.
Well, if you figure that out, let me know, because I would love to kick my feet up and do nothing for the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
No, but it's amazing, right? And so everyone probably watching has probably heard about ClaudeBot and OpenClaw, and essentially what it is, it's been a kind of a new open source project that someone released, and it is really, really great at essentially running by itself for a long time. And so you can have it do these things, and people have come up with all types of use cases. I've dabbled in it, but I don't love the security issues with it, right? It's open source. And so anything that I do, I want to be able to learn myself and kind of build it versus just relying on something else. But it is incredible. Right. Okay, cool. And so again, when this is doing, right, this is now literally pulling data from 15 different pages. It's going to compile a full intelligence report for me. I can go do other work. I can go step away. I can do these things, right? When I'm working on a day-to-day basis, I have probably anywhere between 2 and 15 of these terminal tabs open up on my other screen, and they're constantly doing different things. One is, creating a blog post for me. One is researching a competitor. One is thinking through a product feature. One is going through LinkedIn for me. One is going through Reddit. Like literally, I have an army of agents. I feel like Tom Cruise in Minority Report, just, kind of juggling them on a daily basis. And over the last 6 months, it has transformed not only the way that I run my business, but literally the productivity. I think I'm getting 10x at least in output that I'm doing. Like things that used to take us 3 to 4 months to do, we're now knocking out in 1 or 2 days as a team.
Can you give an example?
So product updates, right? I think literally now we're, with Recap, we're migrating more and more towards AI coding. We had to do, foundational kind of refactor on that. Any of the side businesses that I've started, right? I've launched 3 iOS apps. I've launched 2 SaaS tools, about to launch a 3rd one that you saw earlier, the dashboard. I've launched Mastering AI. I've helped my fiance build a couple personal tools for herself. She's a pharmacist, just to be able to manage her schedule and make her life easier. I mean, sky's the limit.
And how long did it take you to ramp up to the level that you are right now?
So for me, I was very bad when I first started, and the tools were also pretty bad, right? The models a year ago were nowhere near as good as what they are today.
Yeah.
I did the math on this. I think I've probably clocked over 1,000 hours in the past year using AI in some extent.
Yeah.
Right? So at least half my work week is literally just managing AI. But I think most people could get about 80% of the way there in a couple weeks, because if they have the resources, if they're able to collect, if they have someone coaching them, it doesn't have to be me. I think they can get really, really dangerous in a couple weeks. And I think the most in-demand skill in 2026 is going to be managing and creating agents with Claude Code.
Absolutely. Well, I can see this working for us. I mean, I've just working at Guards. I just went through our CRM, and I see that there's a few accounts there that should not be there. And this is really in depth. I could really connect it with API to our CRM and just weed out all the accounts that are not relevant to us. So yeah. This is super useful.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. And so while this is actually building, let me just show you something. So I struggle with the exact same thing, right? And even something as simple as lead scoring or deal scoring or account scoring, I really struggle with. And so one of the things I ended up building in this dashboard that anybody can kind of go in and replicate themselves is, if I go to pipeline and I click on a deal, I have agents that are now pulling in the deal health score. Now, this is just a sample deal, so I don't think it's going to show anything, but I have it pulling in deal health score. I have it qualifying the deal for me. I have it pulling in all my emails, calendar, and messages that are tied to that deal. And I'm also doing it at a company or account level as well. So being able to come in here. So
how many hours on building this?
So this has probably taken me a little under 30 hours in the past week. The hackathon started on Tuesday. I submitted it on Monday, but I've become like, it first started out as a fun little side project. And then I realized really quickly, like, holy shit, this can actually replace a lot of the tools that I'm actually using. And so I've been building this pretty much on every off hour that I have.
30 hours.
Yeah. But that's everything, right? That's the calendar. That's the Notion notes. That's the Zoom recordings, literally pulling. I thought of it kind of as like a personal operating system. I wanted all of my things in one place. And the reason I was able to do this in 30 hours is because I've been doing this through my folders for the better part of 6 months, right? So if I go into my Finder, I literally have recapped folders. I have marketing folders where I was just putting all of this stuff in there, and it was just on my computer, but it's not a really great experience. But it was still doing maybe 70% of the work for me.
Yeah. Can you walk us maybe through the process of how you build one, like the thinking process or stuff? Because now you've spoon fed us, which is very cool. But I mean, for example, like you said, okay, go through the map of the website and all those things, and not everybody would know those type of things. So would you use Claude to instruct you, help you create the skill or the agent? So what's your process there?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So I'm using Claude Code for everything. I'm using Claude Code to help me plan the things that we're going to be building. I have it fight me on ideas to come up with where I'm missing things, where there's edge cases. I'm having it really build out these huge plan files that we're iterating on multiple times. And sometimes I'll even, maybe spend an hour creating 2 or 3 different plan files, and then taking those plan files and feeding it back into Claude and saying, hey, we've thought through all of these. Take all of these files into one and help me build a product or an idea that now does this. And then it'll create kind of a master plan file. And then from there, it's literally being able to go and execute and do these things for me. So, and if I get stuck, I ask Claude Code to help describe it for me.
Nice.
And so, for example, while we were waiting, right? So my agent finished, and I just told it said, hey, this file got saved. I'm lazy. I just told it to open it. It went ahead and opened it, and they created an intelligence profile that is extensive. Right? This would have taken someone, I don't know, a couple of days to do this.
Yeah.
I used to have literally employees that would do things like this, right? Building competitor use case, and it probably wouldn't be as in depth as this. And so we have pricing intelligence, we have content and SEO, SWOT analysis, right? Executive summary, whatever I want. But what's really great is now that it created this MD file, I can use that going forward in the future. I can always reference it. All right. So, for example, if you do this for your company, you can also create another one called brand. So one of my favorite agents that I built is I created a /brand agent that said, hey, ask me 50 questions to identify what my brand is and what it stands for, and the tone and the message and the emotions that we want to do. And it did all of that, and it created a brand.md file. And now whenever I need to do any content, I need to do any blog post, I need to do anything, I go reference the brand.md file, do this, do this, do this. And it spits out content that it would never do just by out of the box.
That's great. Mark is, Alex is asking whether we can make this accessible via Slack, the outputs, or even the interface. So is that something that can be done?
It is absolutely something that can be done. You can ask Claude Code to do it, and you could probably get it done. I did it yesterday in, I want to say probably like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Now you will have to probably be an admin on the Slack channel. You will have to create an Slack bot, but Claude Code can literally walk you through every single step of the way to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like, for example, the dashboard that I was showing you earlier, Peepsy, it's in Slack now, and I can do @Peepsy, hey, can you find me information on this deal? And it's going to go through my HubSpot and pull that data.
Wow. Okay. So you don't have to leave Slack. You can just chat with your dashboard. So it's a kind of a MCP server for your dashboard. That's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yep. And then one of the next projects I'm going to work on is I'm actually going to give that dashboard an MCP access to Claude Code. So if I'm in Claude Code here, I can say, hey, go into my dashboard and create 5 files for me and do all these other things. So that way it can feed back and forth between each other.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So just by using Claude Code kind of as like your entry point, you're able to integrate it with all these other systems.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Alex, that's a great question. Let's maybe save some room at the end for that, because we could probably have a whole conversation around that. Perfect. So now that we've kind of built our first skill, now we can just do the exact same thing, and we can kind of build another skill on top of it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give you this prompt as well, Ariel, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll just drop this in here. And what I would recommend is the context within Claude or ChatGPT, think of it as the memory, right? If you add too much, it's going to get overwhelmed and it's going to start giving you bad results. If you don't give it enough, it's going to make a lot of assumptions. It's also going to give you a lot of bad results. So I usually, if I'm doing something new, I almost always start a new session. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to paste this prompt in. And I'm going to do the exact same thing here. I'm going to do it in a new tab, and I'm going to hit Claude.
The prompt is in your Facebook event or your LinkedIn event comments as well. So I've just pasted it. You can copy it.
And so really the prompt is, and I'll see if I can zoom in further for everybody. Here we go. Create a Claude Code skill called /write. It should read the company profile from the profiles folder, which we just created. All right. Ask what type of content I want. Write the content using the company voice vocabulary from the profile. Include anti-AI smell rules, right? Delve, the M dash that everyone is familiar with. Right. After the content, add a brief note explaining the voice choices made, right? And then here, I like to kind of take this one note for you guys. You don't have to put this in the prompt, but if you want to take it a step further, you can add in content that you really admire, your own content, blog posts. What I've really had a lot of success with is actually before this stage, creating a /interview agent that interviews me on a topic, asks me what voice I want to use, right? Because I have a couple different ones depending on the piece we're making. And then it feeds it to the /write agent. Then I have a /edit agent that acts as essentially like a newspaper editor that tells me why these sentences are bad. Then I have a /rewrite agent that does it again. And the end result is so much better than what you would get just by doing this once in a Claude or ChatGPT chat.
is there an orchestrator that tells them what to do, or do you manually orchestrate them?
Yes. So I have a /full process agent that runs through the entire process and orchestrates all of them.
Okay. And would you be, so would I be able to plan something like this with Claude Code, for
Yes.
example? Just tell him, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I heard this crazy guy talking on this LinkedIn Live, and this is what he did. Can you help me plan something like this? And he'll be able to do that. Yeah, I want to create a series of agents.
Yeah, I want to create a series of agents that each take on a specific role. First, an interview agent. Right. I'm not going to write out the whole thing, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And actually, let's see. I will actually show you guys something that I've discovered recently that is been really, really helpful. It's called Whisper Flow. It allows you to use.
I'll drop a link to it in the comments in a second.
Yeah. I stole this idea and I put it into that dashboard. So now I can literally just do the exact same thing with chat, but it's incredible. So if you hold here, I'll show you guys an example, right? First, an interview agent that interviews me on everything that I want about a topic. Then I want to create an agent that proposes the structure of the content. Then I want to create an agent that writes the content. Then I want to create an agent that edits the content. And then finally, I want to create an agent that goes through and makes it more viral and emotional. And everything just populated because of the voice that I was using. And so I've gotten very, very lazy with AI. I don't even like typing things anymore because especially when you can talk, 5 times faster than you can type, right?
Yeah. By the way, Whisper Flow is free up to 2,000 words or something like this. So,
yep.
Yeah, and it works in other languages other than English. I use it in Hebrew, for example. So,
that's
yeah,
perfect.
it's definitely worth a go. I have it on the Mac. I have it on the PC.
Yeah. Yeah, I held off for a long time, but I wish I didn't. And I'm on the free plan as well, so it's been great. All right. And so literally when I just went ahead and typed that prompt in, it's going to go ahead and ask me a couple things. I'll just click a couple. All right. And again, right, by kind of building these things, you can start creating this kind of like army of agents. And then you can you can ask Claude Code to do this for you. You can have it run those agents on particular times. So let's say you want an agent that goes through your email and pulls out the last, 3 most important things or gives you a brief for the day. You can do that and you can have it run it at 7 in the morning. Yeah, Jen, great question. Why I'm using Claude Code app versus terminal. So normally I really never touch the app. I go ahead and use the terminal pretty much all day, every day, but the app is a little bit less intimidating, especially for new beginners. And they have definitely made a lot of improvements to it. But when I first started using Claude Code, they didn't even have it. And even when they did release it, it wasn't at feature parity as a terminal. But for me, especially with the terminal where I can run 15 of these on a given day, right? I can literally just go in and create all of these different tabs that I just jump between. I live primarily out of the terminal myself.
So terminal quicker, more sessions, easier to manage for you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and once you get used to it too, it's very responsive. It's quick. I have a feeling, I can't prove this. I have a feeling that the API and the model that they're using in the terminal is slightly better because my results have been slightly better. I don't know. That could just be superstition, but I love the terminal. And before this, I've never used a terminal in my life.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So there's a question on how you give context to these agents.
Yeah. So that's, you can do it in a variety of different ways, right? One is if we create kind of those folders where if we go into, let's see, if we go into the LinkedIn demo, or I guess actually it would be in my Claude file, we're going to have, what did we call it? Was it projects? It was profiles, I think. So it would be in there. So I won't bog you down with the minutia, but essentially what you can do is you can tell Claude Code to say, hey, I want you to build a folder of all of this context, right? Or I want you to use an MCP server, which is kind of like AI APIs, to pull this data from somewhere else. So go ahead and pull it from Granola, pull it from Gong, pull it from Zoom recordings, whatever you want to do. And it'll help you set those up, and you can have it enter wherever you want.
Yeah.
Right? One of the reasons I started working on the dashboard is because I had just was living out of my folders on my computer, on my desktop. And I was like, there has to be a better way. So I wanted something a little bit prettier. You don't have to do that. There's a lot of different ways you can do this.
So it's like a very smart virtual assistant who lives in your computer, can do whatever you want over there as long as you give it instructions, and can program and develop software, both the back end and the front end.
And it is very eager to please. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't ask for pay raises. And it learns, and it can talk in every language in the world.
Amazing.
Yeah. So just to give you guys, because they released recently a feature where you can do like /status, and it tells you the last 30 days of usage. I think I had 12,000 hours over the last 30 days that Claude Code was running for me.
Wow.
When you run that at an average salary of an engineer at $50 an hour, I got $600,000 worth of value for $200 a month. So if I needed engineers to build the things that I needed to do, well, first off, I think it'd be way longer because I don't think they would have been able to do it in 12,000 hours. It would have cost me at least $500,000.
Yeah. So where are we? Do you want to show another agent, or where are we in terms of the demos?
Yeah, for sure. So actually those two, those two agents are going to be really the two agents that I had, but more than happy to answer questions for anybody else or run it.
So I'm going to surface one on the screen. Can you show an example of how to build a basic dashboard?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's actually use Claude Code to do this. Build me a basic dashboard that pulls in all of the profiles that we used /intel on, and allows me to review them and chat with the AI agent. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up here. So I can view it all in one place.
So you're not going to do, essentially, I mean, you're never one-shotting it. It's always going to be an iterative process where you see what it created. But I'm curious about, you said you have the agents hosted on another platform and stuff like that. Was Claude Code able to do the installation for you and everything around that, or?
Yeah. So, and I'll share my screen while we wait on that. So Claude Code helped me build this entire dashboard, this entire product, right? Yeah. I'm actually going to start selling it as a side product because I realized really quickly on that this thing actually has a lot of legs, but no pressure for anybody watching. But so everything in here is running off of Claude Code. Now on the back end, I do have API keys that I'm paying for out of pocket to do the things that I'm doing, right? So you can't use Claude Code will ban you if you try to use the like almost unlimited Claude Code plan in other places outside of the terminal and this app. All right. So you can build things with it, but you can't use it to like circumvent paying for credits, essentially.
Yeah.
All right. And so everything that I've built in here, Claude Code built all of this, but then to run it on the server and to use it, I'm paying for API keys.
Nice. But how are you able to, so how did you know how to install it on a server?
Claude Code taught me all of this.
Yeah.
Now, granted, again, I built my first SaaS, I want to say probably 8 or 9 months ago. Yeah. And the first one took, I don't know, probably almost a month. I had to learn how to create a database. I had to go and create, all these things for Vercel and, deployments and things I never learned. And it was a little hard at first. And also, again, the tools weren't anywhere near where they are today. Yeah. Today, knowing what I know, I spun this up literally from Tuesday to Monday. I had everything that you've seen.
Nice.
Right. And so,
can you see the question on screen from Ariel?
yeah, to avoid hitting limits, is it better to use the folders or having an MCP? It's fine. It really doesn't matter. So anything that Claude Code is going to do is going to use up those API limits for you. So any conversation you have, regardless of where that conversation goes, it's going to eat up those credits. But depending on what you're doing, you should be fine. Worst case, if you don't use the newest Opus 4.6 model, actually yesterday they just released Sonnet 4.6, which I think is like 70% cheaper, but it's very good. I think it's literally, they said it's better than Opus 4.5, which was the thing that kind of set the world on fire in December. You should be good, right? Maybe don't use the Opus unless it's really kind of a high level critical thinking task that you really want it to do.
Okay.
No, and so here it's literally just building a dashboard. And so actually really, really important point here. Before I do any of this stuff though, typically what I'll do is I'll open up Claude and I will go into plan mode. And you can tell it to just go into plan mode, or you can start in plan mode. And then you tell it what you want to do, etc. And that's where it really goes and does all this research. It asks you questions and it creates kind of this project plan and implementation plan. And then off of that plan, you then go and build it. Right? Because if you just tell it to go and do something, again, it's going to make a lot of assumptions. It doesn't have the context. It doesn't know what you want. It doesn't know what success looks like. It doesn't know what failure looks like. You want to map all of those things out in a plan file first, and then you go and execute.
All right, so what's this?
Let's see. Cynthia says, who makes
I'm not sure if there's a question there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm spending a lot per month on all these tools. I have Midjourney for images. I have Google Gemini for $20. I have ChatGPT for $20. I have Claude Code for $200. I have, I don't even know what else, but never have I seen a higher ROI on anything I've spent in my life. So.
Mm-hmm. Can you walk through an example where we are accessing lots of different data to, not sure I understand the question, but.
Share an example where we're accessing lots of different data.
She says, I want to compare Salesforce data with product data. Imagine comparing usage data to what was sold.
Yeah. I promised myself I wouldn't show too much of this, but whatever. I think it's going to be a good example. So Jen, great question. So in the kind of the dashboard that I built, because I'm pulling in CRM data, my Slack and Discord messages, my relationships, my calendar data, my tasks, my email threads, my notes and Notion notes. Again, all of this you can probably build on your computer. You don't need a dashboard for, right? I have my Google Drive, my call recordings. So actually, let's just do an example. I'm going to go into, let's grab this one. So this is the course that I taught a couple of weeks ago. This was the first session. I can come in here. Well, actually, let's just go into maybe one of the deals because that was the question. So I can literally come in here and now start saying, and this is being powered by Claude on the back end, right? So here we have Sonnet and Opus. And so I'm just going to use Sonnet. I'm going to say, compare the Stream 2.0 deal to, I don't know, I don't have product usage in here yet, but to my calendar invites and email history, and see if, see how it compares, I guess, right? I don't know. I've never run this query, so we'll see if it works.
So you built your own assistant, co-pilot for the system as well. Okay.
Exactly, right? Because again, I was doing a lot of this manually, right? I was going in and I was downloading call transcripts. I was putting them in a folder on my computer. Yeah, and so, yeah, again, it's still a work in progress, but looks like the prompt is too long. We'll just try again. But I recorded a video on my LinkedIn yesterday where actually it went through and it updated CRM stages. It created a page and it analyzed all of that. So you can absolutely do that. There's a lot of different ways you can do it.
So if I want to learn more, what are my options?
Yeah. There's obviously there's a lot of really great content on Twitter. There's a lot of great content on YouTube. I'm biased, but if you go to masteringai.io, there's also going to be a lot of great content hopefully for you. I've tried to keep up to date on free content, free guides, comparisons, where to start, templates, idea generators, pretty much anything that people ask me for. I just go ahead and use Claude Code to help me build. Right. So those agents that I showed you earlier, the 5, 6 steps, I use that every single step of the way to build everything that I've done on Mastering AI. So if you go to masteringai.io, you'll see everything on that website has been made by Claude Code with me guiding it and telling it what to do.
Who's your ideal customer persona? Like who's listening now that might find a useful course or resource?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I've really been kind of trying to help answer that for myself, right? Because this is very much a passion project for me, right? I've got a B2B SaaS that I'm running that keeps me gainfully employed. But for me, I think what we're going to see over the next decade is this emergence of what I've kind of, I guess, really been the first one to coin as an idea engineer, right? It's the future most in-demand employees that will exist are going to be these hybrids that could do a little bit of everything. They're going to be product focused. They're going to know how to design. They're going to know how to code with AI, and they're going to know about go-to-market and marketing and things like that. And one of those employees is going to be able to do the work of 5 to 10 people. All right. And they're not going to be a master specialist in any one area, but they're going to be very horizontally focused and very, very good at what they do. And through agents and AI, they're going to be able to put out months of work in a couple of days. And so I think for me, what I've really wanted to kind of help is usher in this new era of these people, because that's what I've considered myself, right? As a CEO, I mean, this, we wear a million different hats. Right? And I think that's one of the best parts of being a CEO is, we're juggling so many different things. And so for me, I think candidly, listen, I think if you are not using Claude Code very soon and you're not building agents, your job is probably going to be at risk at the end of the year. Now, on the flip side, if you are doing this stuff today and you're experimenting and you're early, because we are still early, you have the opportunity to become the IT or AI person at your company, right? You can start demanding more money. You can start demanding more responsibilities. You can really kind of become indispensable. So we're at this really, really unique point, and I just want to enable those people. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's who I've really kind of fallen in love with, helping to create these builders essentially.
Yeah, I think it's a very good answer. Like it's broader, but it's better. I just want to answer Pravat here. I've created several agents on ChatGPT myself. How are the code-based bots of Claude any different?
Yeah, so Pravat, if you're talking about essentially like the ChatGPT chat that you're doing, again, the context is going to be very different, right? It's going to be limited to what it can do in that chat window. Whereas these agents can go and do things for me. They can scour the website. They can go through Reddit. They can create files. They can send emails. They have access to all of your tools, or whichever ones you give them to, and they can pull in and ingest different types of data. So
Yeah.
I don't even think it's the same sport. It's not even the same ballpark.
Yeah. How that dashboard coming along, by the way?
This one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, sorry. I got distracted. So we'll just go ahead.
Okay.
Let it.
Guys, we have about 7 more minutes. So if you have more questions, that's great. If you want to see what Mark's doing, so visit masteringai.io. Some good resources there, and some interesting courses. Okay. Wow, that's cool. That was quick.
That was quick. I think it took me longer to approve the plan than it did. So this is cool. So I'm seeing this for the first time, obviously. So what it did is it pulled in the 2 companies that we did. What's really interesting, right? So Jen, I guess that goes back to your question earlier. Even though I did one in here and one in the terminal, it still pulled both of them in here, right?
Wow.
And so here, let's click on this. Wow, this is really cool, right? So this is actually really awesome. I don't think this will work because it'll require an API key. Who is this course for? Yeah, so it doesn't have an API key behind the scenes, so it can't do it. But still, like just building a dashboard like this, imagine what you're able to do if you just ingest a little bit of piece of data from your business or from really anything unique that you have that other people don't have access to. That's really where I think things are going to get really powerful. This is awesome. CEO. So let's go to recapped. Yep, 6.3. Yep. Yeah. That's cool.
Very good.
And let's see. I would love to know what those threats are. Let's see if it. Oh, here we are. Okay. Salesforce and HubSpot could build native deal room features. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'd say these are pretty spot on. Now imagine if instead of just telling it to build a dashboard for me, I went through and did a plan file and I had it go back and forth with me for 20 minutes or so and really kind of identify this thing could look 5 times better.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool. So last 5 minutes, do you have anything to show? Or shall we just give everybody another 5 minutes of their time back?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've shared what I was going to share. Hopefully, just with those 2 skills and those 2 agents that people built, hopefully they were able to build them live. I think it'll give you a really good starting point for where everyone goes, but would love to help answer any questions or anything that you guys are struggling with or want to learn.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, my biggest question is how do you have the energy to juggle all those various things? But I think maybe it's the AI.
It's listen, it's just a lot of fun. It feels like playing a video game or something. It's because the feedback loop is so quick, right? Like we just saw, we went from an idea to a dashboard in 2 minutes. And once you kind of get that bug and you're like, oh my God, I could build this, I could do this, I could do this. I could create a app that searches for local grocery stores that helps me meal prep, right? Like all of these ideas. It's just, one of the things I keep going back to, the reason I came up with kind of like this idea engineer concept is because in order for me to build Recapped, where I had this idea, right? I was a VP of sales in my last role. We needed something like this.
Yeah.
I had to go and convince a co-founder. I had to go and raise $7.9 million, not actually 6.3. I had to dedicate years of my life to building something. I could probably clone Recapped or any SaaS in a span of a month today. Right?
Wow.
And so that unlock it's incredible. I don't know what it's going to do to the economy. I don't know what it's going to do to companies. But we have never been in a better time to go build a business than we are today. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was eye-opening today. I mean, we talked in the past and I played a little bit with Claude Code and stuff, but it's never been, I'm more inspired than ever. Yeah. So a couple of last questions. Nick, yes. If you visit the LinkedIn Live or the YouTube link, which I might post as well, you can watch this whenever you want. And if you're having trouble, just connect with me or Mark, and we'll make sure that you get the recording. Gur says, what are the best sources trying to stay updated with all the new features that are keep coming other than mastering AI? Of course, I think X, aka Twitter, is very fast. YouTube is great as well.
I agree with those 2. I get all my information from X, and then obviously from the first party. It is, I'll be honest, unless you put this to full time, even for me, who's like living and breathing this thing, it is so hard to keep up. Things are changing every day. New models get dropped. People are crowned the best. But X and YouTube are going to be your biggest source. By the time it hits LinkedIn, it's probably a month old at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually read a post like this from Eric Nowoslavsky. He said that people are behind on LinkedIn. And so I went back to X, but I got severe FOMO from everybody who's doing stuff over there. So I've removed it from my mobile and I'm limiting myself to a few minutes a week.
I'm fully addicted to X right now because it is just, it's like an inspiration, just blast. If you can get past all of the, infighting and whatever else on there, but if you actually make your algo what you want it, it's incredible. That's where I get most of my information.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Mark, thank you so much. We're at the hour mark at the moment. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for the kind words. And the recording is going to be there. I'm definitely going to extract some text, transcribe the recording, and put an action plan for myself. So Mark, thanks again. Best of luck. Please visit masteringai.io, and yeah, best of success with everybody's endeavors in the AI era.
Go build stuff. That's all I can say. Go spend the weekend and just lock yourself up with some coffee and go build it. Get stuck. You ask Claude Code. It is incredible. But thank you for having me. This has been a blast. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.